Hey guys, Pete here. Gonna do one last little van recording for you guys before I take off tomorrow. I'm flying back out to Panama. Listen, I wanted to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is, what you're gonna do with your business, because things are changing right now. I mean, big time. And when I was in business, I started my business in 1990, and I followed the business model that was the success model back at that time of basically Ron Smith's business, that was formed and very successful in the 80s. And we still follow that to this day. It's basically the same thing. I mean, we've digitized the documents, we've created software, and enhanced a lot of this different stuff. But what you do digitally, we did manually. It's the same thing. People think it's that big of a difference, but the one big difference was we had a lot of people in the trade. Everybody was starting to push college back then pretty heavy. Got to go to college, got to get that 4-year degree, right? But and I did the military, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, heating and air conditioning and refrigeration. Great place to start. And so when I got out, I took what I had learned and went to work as a technician. And there was a surplus of technicians. We got laid off and then rehired because businesses could do that. You don't do that today. You find something for them to do, you go send them home, you won't have them very long, right? So how are you going to build a business on that? I mean, think about this. How are you going to build a business without any employees? Because they're not coming in. Not at a rate that's going to work. I'm going to park over here just for a second. So you train your own, and like I did, I trained my own, and then I invest money, and my competitor will offer them $1 on the hour or more, and they gone. It's just, that's the kind of stuff that you'll be faced with. Now, the industry's changing. They're getting ready to change the way they rate equipment. They're going to some, I think they call it a Tier 2 or something, a new rating system. So that's going to change. A new refrigerant, that's going to change. But the labor is what I'm talking about, and you must build your business model in such a way that you can be successful during these times. And most people aren't going to do this. They're going to be reactive. They're not proactive like what we're talking about, setting all this stuff up. They're reactive, and they're just going to fly by the seat of the pants and then pat themselves on the back for surviving. But if that satisfies you just to survive, not to thrive, so be it. But down here in Miami, the union is paying $45 an hour for a technician with mediocre skills. So, how are you going to compete with that? What's to keep your employees to go into the big institutions? They can afford to pay this. You can't. Maintenance departments and all these big, large organizations, they're going to take your people away. Or they're going to take away the work pools people. And so you have less to choose from. So if you're going to grow your business, if you're going to look down the road at your business, we got to be realistic. The business model is changing. It's not going to look like this anymore. It's not going to be the great big mega companies anymore. They're going to dwindle. A lot of these companies are selling out because, as essential services, people are trying to, they're investing a lot of money in this kind of stuff, and they don't understand our industry. We saw that back in the consolidation phases back in the 90s. They buy up all these businesses and just ruin them, and they don't know how to run a heating and air business. Heck, we don't know how to run the heating and air business half the time. But so let's get to the point. What do you do? So here's what it's going to look like. The larger companies are going to scale down to ever how many people they can keep employed. The talent is going to get worse and worse. So the consumer has a choice. They can deal with a company like that, and deal with the poor service. You're seeing it now. We're seeing it in all these other companies. This is poor customer service. Or they can work with some jackleg. We do heating and air too. I'll fix your fence. We'll put some vinyl siding on the side of the house, or that, or you. And here is what your business model looks like. It's 4 pillars. First of all, you have to have a power identity. Okay, you've got to stand out as something that is refreshingly positive, so that people who are willing to spend the money can identify you as worthy of spending that money on. Secondly, you have to have a unique service position. That means a specialty. And then we have the people processes and the marketing side of it and all that. But if you want the best, you're going to have to pay for it. And it's going to start to be recognized by the consumers that I can't judge which one of these companies is the best based on their size anymore. Because usually I'm just going to go with the big company, play it safe. So you need to start building that reputation now. And the business model is going to have you in the van. And for the most part, you may get to that size where you're just a handful of your team, especially if you have family or something like that, your son, your brother, somebody who, your cousin, whatever, that you can get in there and build something together. That helps, because it's a lot on your shoulders. You got a lot of stress, but you're going to have to simplify the process. You're going to have to quit doing everything for everybody. You get focused, you get great at it, and this is what we do, this is who we are, and this is what we're known for. And in doing so, you're going to uncomplicate your life tremendously. So specialization, you're unique, and being known for that, that's your power identity. And identity is an identity, but your power identity has oomph. And we take you through a process and help you arrive at that. We help you get through there, so that once you've done all this work, you go, yeah, I like this. This is me. This is why I started my business. This is what gets me up. And remember when you used to enjoy the work, right? Before it became a burden, and all of the stuff that comes with it, all that overhead and everything. Think about a doctor or a dentist. I like the doctor analogy. When you come in, you go through these different people, you fill out these different forms, but the doctor is in there, and all they're doing is their specialty during that period of time. So they move, everything's set up for them. They move from this room to that room to that room to that room to that room, so that they're very efficient. We're going to have to do something similar, but we have travel time, and it's a different scenario, I know. But we're going to have to be very specialized and be very efficient. And that means surrounding yourself with what used to be people, and now it's systems that are going to allow you to be as efficient as possible. Because you're not going to want to work 10, 12, 14-hour days anymore. I mean, you'll get to a point where you just don't, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And so, we need to be having this conversation. We need to be working towards that now. It's changing. Try finding an employee. Nobody wants to work. They're lazy. They don't want to sweat. They don't want to get their hands dirty. They sit over there at McDonald's and make $18, $19 an hour in some places. Why in the world would they climb up in an attic or on the roof or underneath the house and cut themselves on that sheet metal to get that insulation on them? Freeze burns from refrigerant. All the stuff that you deal with every day, because you're a man or a woman, and you own up to it. You deal with it. It's work. This is what we do. If nobody does it, it doesn't get done. So we're in a society, and this is not, I'm using blanket statements, so please don't take offense to this if you're in this age bracket. Odds are, if you're watching this, you are the exception. But most people, they don't want to work. They want to sit behind their device and entertain themselves, masturbate to porn, whatever they're doing with their time, gaming and everything else. It's changed. Being out there and being alive and interacting with people is It's become the anomaly. And if we don't fix that, we're doomed as a society. You've got to reconnect to your community. The devices have their place, these apps, these software and everything else. They have their place, but we've got to hold them to that place. Because remember, we don't need any of this stuff. I didn't use any of this stuff when I had my business. I just went out there and did the work. You know, it doesn't matter how you make that connection. It doesn't matter how, once the connection made, the trust is made. Well, once you're there, it's there. You don't need the device anymore, other than to answer the phone. They'll call you, go out, because they know you, they trust you. That's why having history is so important. That's why those first 5 years are so hard. Going through a mode of nobody knows you and you're trying to acquire customers, customer acquisition mode, and crossing that threshold to that repeat business where you can breathe a little sigh of relief, to having the history and having years of customers calling your company. That's the value of one of these older businesses, and that's why people pay so much for a business when they buy it, because they're basically buying those relationships. But if you're watching this, you're probably, I don't know, first 5 years, first 10 years of business. So you'll start to see this transition. And so I don't know why they do this. This lady, the parking lot's empty. She parks right in front of me and is looking at me right now. Because it's weird, right? I'm here talking to my phone. So change is here. So we need to be setting that up. We need to be working on this stuff. And we need community. There's a lot of stuff that you're not going to be able to do. There's a lot of stuff that you can be shown what to do, and you'll never do it, and you know it. I mean, how often? Try away from this lady. She's weirding me out. Here, I'll show her to you. Weird. She's like, Pete's good looking. I'm gonna sit right here. I got the best scene. So, I talked about the lottery syndrome, where you take somebody who's never ever had any money and they win the lottery, and now all their financial dreams are achieved, and 3 years later they're flat broke. So why is that? Because they're not wired for that. And my grandfather went through the Great Depression, and buddy, when he made money, he saved it. He had that mindset because life did that to him. But if you grew up in your mama's house and you never had to really work for anything, and everything's kind of given to you, you aren't wired to handle money and handle business. You got to rewire things. That's part of it. Society has trained you to be this person, but it's never too late to rewire things. You can be whoever you want to be. Like I always said, was that book, The Millionaire Mindset? Be careful whose mindset you adopt. I'm sorry, because once that becomes who you are, people see that. People see that. That's why we don't do the sales techniques for technicians. Not blunt in your face, Would you like that in blue, right? All these sales techniques that are designed to get your customer to buy from you, and the little things that you say and everything else. You don't need that. I mean, you do, to optimize the opportunity with, this potential money source, if that's the way you want to see your customer, or to optimize the opportunity for this human being that's sitting right across from you, and they have the resources, but not just doing the minimum. Oh yeah, let me save you money. Not that. Bringing all the information talking about all the different things that they can be that they can do with their home comfort system, or or air quality, or air distribution system, or whatever it is you're doing, and explaining it to them in a way that they get it and they can choose for themselves, because people want to put themselves in a better position. I mean, your home comfort system is the third most expensive item that most people invest in. Number one is their home, number two is their vehicle, number three is their home comfort system. So of course they're going to spend the money, so, but it's how it's delivered. And when you deliver that way, it's like I said on the last video, instead of you being face to face, now we're sitting beside each other looking at the problem together. That's a whole different level. When you get that kind of trust, it's gold, And so these are the things that we have to keep in mind as we grow. You may be behind the wheel, in your van. This is your rolling office or what have you, but you set your system up right. You can do really, really well, and you'll never go hungry. We're getting ready to go through this financial reset. That's gonna make some waves. They are remolding our society right now, and change is inevitable. So what we need to do is do more than adapt and adhere to what's going on. We need to stay a step ahead. And if you'll do this, and you'll do it with the community, we do groups all the time. If you're sitting in your van by yourself, who do you talk to? Who do you get advice from? We've got a number of groups where we have 8 of these people, and we're all, through our devices, we're all connected. Dude, you wouldn't believe what I dealt with this last customer. Can you believe this? Oh, here's what I would have done. Right? Dude, what are you guys charging for this? How do you handle that? And the sheer genius that comes out of these groups is just phenomenal. Why more aren't doing this? Probably because nobody's really offered them. I think we're the only ones that have really done that. HVAC Greatness. We got a couple of groups like that. But with the X Factor, with this new business model, where we're setting up something different, it definitely is going to require some conversation, because again, you're rewiring, you're changing the way you were, and you're moving into this new identity that is an extension of yourself. You're not changing who you are, but you're changing into this new identity that's very powerful. But it's just like changing your body at the gym. You got to get in there and work out. You got to do the exercise, right? Let's see if I can get across I'm gonna try to get across the highway here. You won't believe the traffic down here. Oh my gosh. It's like a darn parking lot. Let me see if I missed the opportunity for that light. Oh shoot. If I wreck, we'll catch it on camera. All right, we did good. So, yeah, I gotta run back to the hotel for a minute. Things to think about. No, things to get off your ass and take action with. Life is happening right now. If you don't get out there and make it happen, it's gonna happen to you. If you don't take control, it's gonna control you. If you don't decide your destiny will be decided for you. Life is teaching you these same lessons over and over and over. And it's going to continue to teach these lessons over and over until you learn the lessons. That's the way it works. Anyway, Pete Ramsey here. HVAC Greatness. You guys stay good. Bye-bye.